I'm Miss Michelle. This week, we're going to talk about the science of speed to go along with our monthly theme of racing. Important thing to understand when we're talking about speed, aerodynamics. It's a pretty heavy concept that you could get more in depth about if you'd like. Just for today, we're going to understand that it is study of how air travels around something moving through it. Also, an important concept to today's experiment is drag. Drag is resistance to motion due to friction between air molecules and, we'll say, a car, since we're talking about racing. The way you're going to experience drag and knowing what it means and seeing it the most is when you have stuck your hand out the window while your vehicle is driving, and if you have your hand this way, you're feeling that pressure and it's stronger, you're feeling the drag, and essentially you're slowing the vehicle that you're in down and or making it work harder to go at the speed that it wants. Your hand's like this, you're more aerodynamic, therefore creating less drag. Another concept that you're not gonna find probably too much area to use in your experiment, but in the science of speed, the concept of drafting and racing is very interesting, and real quick I'll let you see a clip of that.
Brings a car with as little drag as possible, but drivers have invented their own way of compensating for the limited horsepower: drafting.
I love drafting. To be at 200 miles an hour with 43 guys around you and you're just beating each other down the straightaways and sometimes in the corners.
When two cars are far apart, each car has to push air molecules out of its way, and each car is pulled backward by the low pressure region created by its weight. Now imagine what happens when the two cars get close to each other. By close, I don't mean a few feet, I mean a few inches. When two cars get close enough, air flows around them as if they were a single car. This decreases the total amount of drag on the two cars because one car is pushing the air molecules out of the way for both cars. The first car doesn't generate as much of a weight either because the second car is so close behind it. The end result is that the second car gets pulled along with the first car and they both go faster.
If you could put two engines in one car, that's two cars drafting, because one car is still only pushing the air.
Two cars drafting can go 3 to 5 miles an hour faster than either car can go on its own. Drafting is most beneficial at Talladega and Daytona because of the restricted engine power, but you'll see drafting at high-speed tracks like Indianapolis and Michigan too. Driving a few inches from each other going 200 miles an hour just wasn't enough for some drivers. The desire for speed quickly turned drafting into bump drafting.
Well, it feels like bumping at 200 miles an hour. I mean, I know that's a pretty dulled down version, but it is pretty exhilarating.
There's sometimes I look up in my mirror and I go, oh boy, this one, I'm gonna feel this one, and I hope it doesn't spin me out because sometimes it can be a really abrupt impact.
When two cars are drafting, the second car doesn't have to break its own hole in the air, which means the second car has a little unused engine power. When the trailing driver steps on the gas, he speeds up and hits the rear bumper of the first car, transferring speed to the car in front. The whole point of racing is being the fastest. So why would a driver help another car go faster?
Self-benefit. Only and sheerly self-benefit. If two cars are faster than one, it doesn't matter which one of the two I am. I want to be one of the two, and we're going to go forward. And then once you get to the front, then you pass for the lead.
And as the race gets closer and closer to the end, taps become bumps and become hits and become slams, and it's bam, 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 and you really, really feel it.
People say that Dale Earnhardt Sr. was so good at drafting because he could see the air. Dale Jr. is pretty good too, with 7 of his 18 wins coming at Daytona or Talladega. But even if you don't have any Earnhardt genes, you can still see the air too, if you know the science of drafting.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting and worth including in today's video. So let's get on to our experiment really quick. Like I said, the experiment here is we're going to create a car. And your job is to create a car that's going to go faster than anyone else's, to create the least drag and the most aerodynamic vehicle that you can. You're going to need something that's a vehicle source. I'm choosing this piece of cardboard. Tape is going to be handy. Scissors. You want to get some straws. And I'm using skewers, like shish kebab cooking skewers. Also, you could use a pin, the inside of a pin, the piece there. Also, you're gonna want 4 caps. Bottle caps, I'm using soda bottle caps. You also could use a milk or orange juice carton caps. You want them all to be the same. You're going to want to take a nail and hammer a hole. You're going to want to try to make sure your holes stay as centered as possible in your caps, so that you have less movement. Just want to right here and hammer down. I've already hammered all of mine just to save us some time. Just showing you how it's done. You want to make sure your holes, of course, are big enough. You might have to hammer the nail in there a few different times. So let's go ahead and get started here. I am going to create axle number 1. And skewer through. And my straw over the top. And wheel 2. Goes on the end. Alright, it's nice. Now, we'll just tape this to our bottom of our vehicle. You want to make sure that your tape is nice and tight here with your axles, so that the only movement is what's going on inside of the straw, ideally. Yeah, some good movement there. I'm going to go to axle number 2. Oops. Let's slide out. On there. Alright. Tape here. Alright. Again, make sure that everything is nice and tightly secured to your vehicle. So what our vehicle is going to be powered with today is a balloon. You can get a straw and tape the straw to the inside of your balloon, or if you're using the pin, you can use the shell of your pin, stick in there. That you're going to want to tape your balloon to the center of your vehicle, and you want your mouthpiece off here. I just lost the wheel. Sure, we've all lost a wheel every once in a while. We gotta stop, put it back on. All right, so as you can see here, I don't have the best aerodynamicy. I definitely am going to create some drag here with how wide this is. When I blow my balloon up, it's going to get large. I certainly have thought about the idea of eliminating drag in the balloon, as far as grabbing a toilet paper roll tube or a paper towel roll tube. I think that would be a nice experiment to see if we could stick the balloon inside the tube, and the balloon's gonna air up just as much air, it's just going to extend out. It's not going to be as wide. You're going to have less drag. It's going to be more aerodynamic. So I really hope you guys explore that aspect of your creation. Also, I'm really excited to see what other ideas you come up with. You know, those of you who are in the center, who's gonna make the fastest car? So just for experiment's sake, we'll send this off and show you how it's gonna go with the balloon power. There mine goes. Oh, here she goes. Alright guys, well that's enough of that. And I hope you all have a great week and exploring the science of speed.